The Pull Bag is the GCRN's place for everything you need in the comic book world. We focus on new and current comics, while also tackling a few back issues here and there. So join the entire GCRN crew and see what issues the hosts have with today's panels. You can find the Pull Bag on iTunes and geekcastradio.com. Make your great escape into comics.
I would expect nothing less.
Than dog shit from Shanzi?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The only person whose opinion matters to you less than mine.
Woo! It's good to have standards.
Both of your opinions matter to me, just in severely lessening degrees.
Hello and welcome. This week's episode of Off the Cuff, we will be talking about the Xbox One announcement, or the X-Bone, or the XO.
X-Bone.
Or the Zone, as some people call it as well. I am your host, as always, Michael Powers. I'm joined by Danner.
Hey?
And Shanzi.
Hello.
And Joe Reed.
I'm back. At least I was never gone, but I'm my head is back now.
Listen,
You were with us in
no one
spirit.
noticed.
Sorry, we're all back now after being gone for more than a month.
Yeah, Danner did the part of you when you were gone. It's okay.
What? There was no
You don't-
show released.
You
He
weren't
talked- he
supposed to
talked about
tell
old
him.
games. He has the internet. He can see the podcasts. You get that right.
I don't
No, I
subscribe to the
can't because
podcast.
I don't know how to go find him.
I don't even subscribe to the podcast, so
You bastards.
I just put my stuff out there and let it go. Well, I don't listen to
Kidding.
it because I have to listen to it while I edit it, and then I don't want to listen to it again. So
It's okay, I don't listen to it mostly because of the fact that I lived it.
I don't listen to it because I hate the sound of my own voice.
I was there. I survived
I
an
was there.
off-the-cuff recording. So obviously, the Xbox One announcement was very divisive.
Divisive?
Like, you either liked it or you didn't, or you just don't care. What?
Nothing, I was just going to say, I think it was divisive for a lot of people, but unfortunately everything, to me, that they brought up in the reveal didn't speak to me as a gamer, or interest me in the slightest, because none of the stuff they talked about is stuff I'm remotely interested in.
And on that,
So
interested me
that
as
just
a
didn't
human
tickle your
being.
fancy?
on that, I agree with you. I do.
But like I said, I reserve a lot of my judgment until we get to E3 and we actually see games in action.
Game
For
Which is-
everything.
which is 2 weeks away. I'm
I
interested.
remember that being during the school year. What happened?
I thought it was always June.
I thought it was always May.
Thought it was always May. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's in the next 2 days, Joe.
So, anyways, yeah, everyone goes. Microsoft and Sony both go on June 10th, with Microsoft going first and then Sony coming in afterwards, which might work out in their favor depending on what Microsoft decides to share about their system.
And okay, that's the first year that I think going second is going to be a good thing for Sony.
The one thing that I'm interested is that I've been hearing that regarding being able to see like videos, because I know like a lot of everyone does a live stream of their E3 conference, because I know Danner and I have watched them the last 2 years together.
Yeah.
Is this will be the first year where the the streaming video can't actually show you what you're getting from
because
the games.
The internet connections and bandwidths can't support how high quality it looks, right?
Yeah, supposedly it's you would need to download a 1 gig file for a 5-minute trailer in order to get the fidelity out of it for what the consoles are able to present you in actual gameplay. And basically what I've heard is that Watch Dogs looks a lot better than you really think it does. Even the HD trailers that are out there don't do that game justice.
So what am I going to need a new cord to hook up to? Am I going to need a new television?
No. It's just streaming video can't support it.
The internet. It doesn't matter how good your stuff is. You can't see unless you're there. You can't see how good the stuff looks on the system.
I think Google Fiber can do it, but that's just no one has that, so it doesn't matter. Well, none of us have that, anyways. I wish.
We all wish.
That's the sound of Mike getting a boner.
Yeah. Yep. I would tap my microphone, but I think that'd be too gross. Ding.
And plus, grossly overconfident.
So yeah, the Xbox One announcement. The only thing that I got out of that, which is probably as a gamer, is I got what the device actually looks like. So can we talk about that for a second? Is everyone happy that they went back to the look of the original Xbox?
No.
Just a box.
Is it bigger than the original Xbox?
I think it is.
It looks bigger than the original.
They didn't show like size wise, right?
It looks
how big it is compared to other things.
No, they didn't.
It looks. I think it's like it looks taller than the old Xboxes, but like width and depth it looks the same. But that's just from seeing it, so who knows?
And then I think the fact that they made it like it's perfectly like it's all 90-degree angles and it's not curved at all. I think that makes it look even bigger.
Well, to be honest, I think they did that just for the point of making it fit in people's like as an entertainment device.
Yeah, I
like
get
how
that.
Blu-ray players and stuff aren't shaped all pretty; they're just boxes. Here you go.
Depends on which one you buy. But no, I agree with that, and I also heard one of the reasons they made it look like that is so that you don't notice it, because they don't really want you to interface with the box so much as they just want you to.
The giant bar that has the Kinect on it.
Skynet Point 1.
Oh man, but the look, I like the way that it looks, but then again, once I get it, if I get it, it's I'm just.
You mean when you get it?
Yeah, when
it's
I get
not
it.
If you'll get it, but you
when
just
I
don't
get
know
it,
the time frame at this
right.
point.
When I get it, it's just going to slide in my entertainment center. Although I don't even know if I can put that in my entertainment center, because the vents on that thing are ridiculous.
Yeah, holy, the whole top's a vent.
Well, the S is like that too.
It's just kind of like a sloping thing, but I guess from the pictures at least, it looks like 90% of the top is vent.
Half of the top is a vent.
Yeah.
It's the entire box is like split down the middle. Half of it is a matte finish, and the other half is a gloss finish. But obviously the part where the CD drive is a matte finish, I think, and then the other part where the hardware is all vent on the top, kind of like the Xbox S, the 360S is. But
you want to call it the Xbox S now?
Does anyone have any like the controller looks almost very similar?
It looks like the original Xbox controllers that used to have the slide-in memory cards into the controller. That's what
it doesn't look like an S-type, that's for sure.
I don't like how the guide button is way up top though.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna not accidentally hit it all the time like I do now.
I don't know if I've actually.
Well, the thing is that certain games and cutscenes that won't let you pause. Usually, if you hit the Xbox guide button, acts as a pause.
Well, that's okay because apparently with the 360, you can save, or the Xbox One, every game can save anywhere and quit.
Yeah, it keeps it open like a cell phone app, right? From my understanding of it.
Apparently, if you outright close it too, it just creates a save right where you are. So like they don't even the game developers don't have to incorporate like a save file. It'll just save right where you are.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like save files so I can quit and restart and go somewhere else. But I guess I see what they're doing.
I think there will be some similar. Again, this is all rumor, speculation, and all that stuff. I think there will be some sort of saving mechanic, but I think you'll just have the ability to just stop at any point. So it's like there will be no more like for like the 10-year-olds that'll have this system. When their mom calls them to do chores, it's no more. Let me get to a save point. No, it's get up and do your fucking chores.
Yep.
Fuck you, Microsoft. Jesus, all my good things gone.
Yeah. I guess the real bad thing, which has gotten blown totally out of control because Microsoft has not confirmed anything one way or the other, is the whole use game and the always online internet connection stuff. I know you guys have some opinions on that stuff.
I think you have opinions on that stuff too, but you haven't realized how it actually can affect you. Like, we can't let each other borrow games.
Yeah, we can. I mean, all you have to do, it's kind of like how we share stuff on the PS3 right now. It's as
Sign
long as
into
as long as you have my login
Mike's
on
gamer
your
tag.
Hold up. Everyone's talking over everybody.
Well,
Danner, go.
Because Sean,
That's how, we're American.
butting
That's how
in.
we talk.
Ugh, fucking New Yorkers.
Oh, blow me.
Like a typical New Yorker. So basically what I would do, Joe, is I would go over to your place, I would put my gamer tag on yours, and then if you borrowed any of my games, you would have access to those.
But
I really hope that's how
my
it
big
works.
thing is.
So
Well,
that is essentially how it works.
But the thing is that you can do the same thing now. Like I was talking to Mike earlier about this. Like I have, Infamous, right, on 360, and I have a friend. I love playing fighting games when I'm sitting next to the person.
You mean Injustice? Let's not sound
Or
like total
Injustice.
morons
God.
here.
Sorry,
I was really
am a
confused
total
for a
moron.
second there.
Hello. No, Injustice. My bad. So I'd go over to their house to play. And so I had the season pass downloaded on my Xbox. So I wanted to use that to get the new kid. They have 2 new characters out. So I downloaded my gamer tag onto their Xbox. Was able to download all of those characters for free. But as soon as I came back to my Xbox, I had to reacquire my gamer tag onto my own Xbox. And they couldn't use my gamer tag unless they did it on theirs. It would only let it be on one system. Whatever was the most recent one could work.
And like we said earlier when we were talking about this, I think that the way Live is going to work on the Xbox One, where everything's in the cloud, I think the transferring and syncing of stuff is going to be different.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
So, but again, that doesn't. I mean, I've only let Danner borrow I don't know, a handful of games. So it's not unless I move out there, I don't really see that becoming an issue for me. I understand how people are irritated about that, but again, all this stuff is there isn't anything one way or the other about how any of this stuff works now, because apparently, 3 months ago that the whole internet check-in thing was like every 3 minutes and not every 24 hours. It was every 3 minutes it wanted to phone home to get updated information. So apparently that is all flexible, but
yeah, I think the issue with it, I think with that Microsoft is handling very, very badly is they've kind of accidentally created this giant mess of news and of things that are terrifying the gamers. And all it would take is for Microsoft to come out and say, look, none of this is right. Don't worry about it. But they're not. They keep coming out with, well, no, it'll actually do this. And then people get scared. No, it'll actually do this. And then people get it. They're not fixing the misinformation, which leads me to believe that a large amount of it is true.
And I agree with you there. But at the same time, I mean, it's weird to see. It's weird kind of to me that Sony handled this better than they did, because when Sony did their announcement and they were asked about the used game thing, they already had their answer, like in the
Ready.
can. They had their answer ready, and everybody had the same answer. Like anyone that the press talked to, they all had the same answer, which was yes, it'll play used games. We'll have more information for you later, and that was it. Nobody broke the line and shared a little more here or there. Whereas like you said, Joe, at the Xbox event, they had Phil Harrison out there saying one thing, they had their Twitter account saying something completely different, and then they had
Major Nelson saying something completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like you guys should have had this, and you saw how it went.
You guys
with
should
the
have had
Sony
a
one.
powwow before,
Yeah.
And PlayStation has said, yep, we'll play used games, but that can mean a lot of things. And I don't understand how it's the publishers that are going to say, we don't want our used games played. I don't think it's the hardware's job to do that. And here's Microsoft being the champion of the hardware, saying we're going to not let it do this, not exactly saying that, but we're going to have controls over this. And Sony hasn't said anything. I am almost afraid at E3 we're going to hear what Sony is doing, and that it's going to be kind of similar to what Xbox is doing because the publishers want it that way.
Well, I've heard
I have a feeling a lot
wouldn't
of the
surprise me.
PS4 and Xbox One stuff are going to be almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
The one thing I've heard is that they both have systems in place for the developer to have always online DRM from a publisher standpoint. Like Sony and Microsoft won't make it a mandate kind of thing, but
it's like here's how you do it. Here it is.
Yeah, it's like it's in
crazy.
the tools. It's like in the dev kit tools for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. It's like if you enable this, then your thing has to phone home every so often, or it won't play. So it's kind of like EA could make every single one of their games always online, and then you know what you do? You don't buy an EA game.
Exactly. And I hope that Microsoft needs to say that without dropping EA's name. But I don't know. I think that would fix the problem. That fix all the panicking fans.
But what's got a lot of people in a tizzy, what kind of adds more wood to the fire or gas to the fire, if you will, is the fact that EA just dropped their season passes, or not their season passes, their online pass. And a lot of people think that's because that stuff is going to be incorporated into both of the next gen consoles.
And I think that's what the resell used thing is kind of in regards to. Because if all games are doing it, then EA doesn't have to do it with individual games.
Now, I understand why people are mad about this. I understand what it means, and Danner says I sound like a broken record, but it doesn't,
It doesn't affect me because I don't buy used games.
I don't buy used games, and it, in the 20 years, not 20 years, sorry, I used 20 years a lot yesterday when there's a tornado warning. In, the last 10 years being a broadband subscriber, I've never lost my internet connection. Ever. So it doesn't, at least in my area. In my area, I'm not really worried about having to phone home every 24 hours, especially since I don't think among the four of us, I don't think I'm in the minority. I don't really sign on to a game console and then not sign online.
Well, that is
only
true,
when I'm
but
trying to avoid you.
hide offline. But there's definitely times where internet isn't an option because of something being down or busted or whatever, and I would hate for the fact that I have power. I can't play my Xbox though because I can't let Microsoft check to make sure my thing's legit.
I can't take my Xbox to grandma's house. I mean, not that I do that, but other people do.
What if
I
I
don't think you're taking the Xbox One anywhere.
Anyways, yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes with a bolt. You have to bolt it down before it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotta
I might
put
end
up
up
little extenders.
honestly, I might end up taking that thing to Florida with to my in-laws' place if I had it, which I won't. But.
No, you won't.
I've heard
You'll have to rent a separate vehicle just to get it down there.
Just for that, yeah.
There's a lot of this talk on Twitter from some people saying that they think that even though the disc, you put the disc in and it installs it to the hard drive automatically, which I think is great.
It's great as long as you're okay eating up all that space on your hard drive instead of using it for other stuff.
Well, they also said
The fact that it's not an option.
Well, they said that this time around you can actually hook up any external hard drive to it, and it'll function like it's an internal hard drive. So at least they're not
freaking time.
At least they're not going. Nope, it's got to be our hard drive, or it's not working.
It's got to be our hard drive. Oh, and it's overpriced by $150.
Yeah, no. So basically, you could go get yourself a 4 terabyte hard drive for $100 and never worry about space again.
Well, depends on the lifespan of the Xbox One, then, doesn't it?
That's true. But shit. Oh, fuck.
See, this is what happens when you drink.
Oh my god.
I like the alcohol. My name is Mike.
I do. I'm an alcoholic. Hi, my name is Mike, and I'm an alcoholic.
You have your name and address in your underwear, don't you? Just in case.
Maybe? I don't know. I can't even remember what I was going to say now. Oh, no. Okay. People have been talking about, you put the disc in and you install, and then you never have to put the disc in again, which is something that I really like. But there's a lot of people that think that that you should have to put if you don't have the internet connection, that putting the disc in your system should count as your auth check. And
I can get that.
I agree with that.
Like with computer games back in the day.
Well, I think most CD based games still do that. Like,
I don't know. I haven't played one. I remember when I played StarCraft. If I took it offline, I had put the disc in.
Yeah, I only have a digital copy of SimCity, so I don't know, but I know Allie can't play Sims without having the disc in her drive, because it just does a check.
But I do like that it will. That's got to save the hardware some wear and tear, not having to have a disc in there.
Well, the other reason supposedly
not having to spin up every time, like when you.
Supposedly now Blu-ray is the bottleneck to the hardware, whereas like on the PS3 it was kind of like a 1-to-1 kind of thing, and now the hardware is faster than the drive can actually than the CD the DVD can. Oh my god, it's faster than the Blu-ray can read it.
All is good.
So that's one of the reasons why they have it installed. But the nice thing is, unlike the 360, you can play it while it's installing. So,
yeah.
Now, the reason I'm at the event, it was a whole lot of TV talk, whole lot of live TV and controlling your cable box.
That had a remarkable a lot of non-gaming stuff for what was a gaming console.
But
now they're trying to turn it into an entertainment console.
To me, it almost sounded like, but we won't know till E3. It almost. To me, sounded like they wanted to get all that stuff out of the way now. And then hopefully when E3 comes around, they're going to focus on the stuff that we want to see.
I've actually heard that came... I've actually seen that sentiment from somebody from... I think Major Nelson said that on his Twitter feed. He said that if we pulled this at E3, you'd be even more pissed. Which is... As soon as that came out, a lot of people on Twitter kind of like flipped back and was kind of like, they took a step back and were like, okay, wait, maybe this wasn't for us. This was for like the mainstream. Like,
well, they said it was for the media. I mean,
right. And it obviously the Xbox is no longer a
solely gaming console.
Yeah, but it hasn't been for a while. It's just the 360 slowly assimilated into what it is. It didn't come out the gate as what it is, so it was kind of like a slow transition from a gaming machine to
an everything machine.
Yes, and now
remember how it used to be to navigate the 360.
Blades.
Now it's just a mess.
I love the blades. I love them. Blades. I wish you could like choose.
You know what I really hate? Windows 8.
I do.
What a piece of crap. Everything should still run off of Windows XP.
But it seems like they're trying to turn it into a hey, my Netflix / Skype machine can also play video games.
doesn't matter because the PS3, PS4 will still trounce them on the Netflix playing. So
Look at my
Yeah.
system. It plays football games. Boo.
yeah, I mean the event, love it or hate it, the event clearly was not for us. But I started thinking about
It was for the dude bros.
Yes, and
Dude,
Shareholders.
Like,
They didn't-
look at us. We're the
which-
dude bro machine.
which
We
is-
do football and Call of Duty.
you bring up the shareholders, Joe, because Microsoft stock went down and Sony's went up.
Yeah. After that, I heard about that.
So
It's just funny.
I just started thinking about everything else. Like, if you think about what they're doing with the system and what the system actually is, and both the PS3 and the PS4 are basically a PC and a fancy case.
Yeah.
They're almost, in a very broad stroke, they are almost identical. Which Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that's ever been the case with a console before.
That one generation has been identical to the next.
Almost. Oh no, I mean
We're
just
two
the
competitors
PS
have been very,
yeah.
very similar.
The PS4 and the Xbox One are very similar. Like
I want to see someone mod a PlayStation 4 to play Xbox One games.
it.
Wow.
I don't. I mean it.
Don't tell me it can't be done.
No, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying it's
Because they're the most similar they've ever been.
the only difference on paper, outside of maybe a clock speed here or there, is the RAM. That's the only difference between the two.
I had it pointed out to me by one of my computer nerd friends that the Xbox has really, really cheap RAM in it.
Did you see my Facebook?
SDR RAM, I don't remember.
Did you see my Facebook post to you?
I might have.
I saw that conversation and then I couldn't comment directly to it, so I just posted it on your wall.
Okay.
The RAM in the 360 is generic computer RAM, system RAM for a computer.
Just off the shelf kind of stuff.
Yes, but there's many different clock speeds for DDR3 RAM. But it's not as fast as the RAM that is in the PS3. Basically, the PS3's system RAM is graphics card quality RAM for the entire system, where the 360 or the Xbox One is using just your generic PC RAM. However, the Xbox One has a little bit of secret sauce in it, in that it has, I think it's either 32 or 64 megs of something called ED RAM, which is wicked fast. And the 360 also had that, so developers already know how to use it properly.
Mm-hmm. So it makes it easier on them when making games, how to effectively use it.
It's basically just,
I've been dealing with this technology forever.
it's basically just a really fast swap file. Like, they can load stuff into that, and then that can piece it out to where it needs to go a lot faster. But apparently the entire pool of the PlayStation 4's RAM can do the exact same thing as that 32 megs on the Xbox One can do.
So the Xbox One basically just has the same functionality split between two separate components.
Yes. So again,
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. I'm not a computer guy, so I don't know.
I think it's going to come down, just like this last generation. I think it's going to come down to the first party games. That's where that's where you're going to see them shine.
That's where you're going to see it.
Yeah,
and that's really why I'm leaning towards the PS4, just because I'm way more impressed with the exclusives.
But at the
I mean, of all the exclusives they announced for Xbox One, most of them were Xbox Live Arcade games, or whatever they're going to call them now.
Well, I think they're getting rid of that arcade distinction, and it's just going to be games.
I think they're just the games. Yeah, they're just in the price point is the only difference, right?
Yes. But
I mean, they're still
well, and that's why I
games.
thought the 15 exclusive games in the first year, I thought was a little open-ended and deceiving at the same time, because they didn't specify
what they were.
well,
like they're going to be like AAA style titles, or they're going to be arcade games or anything like that. And
how many of them are going to be Connect titles?
Exactly.
Everything's going to use the Kinect.
No, but I mean like actual Connectables 4 or whatever the hell it's on.
Oh, yeah.
There's only been one.
Just
it would be
sequels to Connect games that are out now. Michael Jackson: The Experience 2.
I mean, the only thing that's really been confirmed is the Remedy game.
And Forza
the-
5.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about driving games I don't give a crap about.
But Joe does.
I do.
Yeah, I'm sure Joe
That's
does.
gonna hurt, but I have Forza 4 and my Top Gear track. I can be happy with that.
The thing I'm concerned about is I pointed it out on Facebook. They were touting Alan Wake as a launch game for 360.
And when did that come out?
5 years after the launch. I mean, they can say that there's going to be 15 in the first year, but being a person who worked at a video game store, as you guys being people that follow games, you know how lame a lot of promises are when it comes to this. And,
See it when it's out.
And it's nothing against them. It's just I'm okay with games getting delayed because if a game gets delayed, it typically means they're going to take the time to polish it and make it better. Or when a game gets pushed forward, however, I get a little nervous. So, I mean, it's one of those things that, yeah, I'm impressed with the fact that they want to do 15 in the first year, but they didn't really specify the parameters of what they're referring to, and it just felt to me like they just wanted to get that out into the ether. And I've seen so many people use that as reasons why they think the Xbox One's going to be better than the PS4 on Twitter, but mostly because of the fact that if anybody who follows me on Twitter is listening to this podcast, apologize in advance, but most of the people I follow on Twitter seem to be porch monkeys and idiots.
Oh, man, I'm just going to cut you from this right now.
I was going to say, you follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
So you're a porch monkey.
Yeah, he is.
It's okay, we're bringing it back.
It's okay, we're bringing it back.
We're taking it back. It's my name.
I don't condone porch monkey to being a certain race thing. I condone it to a certain type of person. But it's just so, I don't know, like the fact that they're hanging on and then they're like, now, like today, well, Mirror's Edge 2 is rumored to be an exclusive Xbox One game.
Oh, shit. I hope not.
That's the rumor. That's what started today on Twitter.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that too.
Oh, man.
That Mirror's Edge is going to be Xbox exclusive. Mike, suck it up, man.
No. Okay, the other question, I just want to say that 15 exclusive number has nothing to do with my 60-40 split. Nothing. Zero.
Well,
I just want to put it out there.
Unlike you, I'm more concerned about the games. I know you have other things writing on it, but for me, like I said, Sony's exclusive properties to me
are better.
Agreed. I love Ratchet and Clank. I love Infamous. I love Uncharted. I'm sure there's other games that I love that are exclusives too. I just can't really think of any of them.
Well, there's probably going to be a sequel to Last of Us. I mean, obviously we haven't played that yet, but...
Oh, but we will in 2 weeks.
Yes.
So,
Keep it in your pants, boys.
It's hard for me to get excited about exclusives for Microsoft because I'm not into Halo. Gears of War is insanely boring to me. Forza, not a series I care about. But on the Sony side, I don't care about Gran Turismo either.
Well, my other thing is exclusives. As far as I can recall, most exclusives kind of went out the window with the last generation. It was like it's not even like an there's no such, unless it's published by Microsoft.
Third parties don't care about exclusives for systems. They cared about content exclusives, and that was about it.
Yeah,
right.
It seemed like a lot of stuff like Mass Effect making the transfer over to PlayStation, giving PlayStation ability to play it. Metal Gear, kinda coming to the 360.
Well, it's
I swear to God, if Mass Effect 4 is exclusive to one of the systems, that would be an issue.
Dumbest thing to be honest, I think as soon as they released the trilogy, to me that put that to rest in my head. Is that would why would they go through and release the trilogy for PlayStation?
but like what I was saying is, how many of the 15 exclusives are published by Microsoft and not just like, oh, we're exclusive for a year?
I bet most of them are published by Microsoft or are little independent people that are just happen to only be developing for Microsoft, maybe not even contractually.
I don't think any EA game is going to be published by Microsoft. So I'm not really worried about Mass Effect. I'm not worried about Mirror's Edge. Unless DICE isn't making Mirror's Edge, but then again, it's like, do I care if DICE isn't making Mirror's Edge? I certainly do care if they're not making it.
I'm just really looking forward to one of those 15 being like 5 or 6 of them all being rare games.
I'm
like Grab by the Ghoulies 2, or maybe we'll get Blinks of Time Sweeper 3. Or maybe we could finally get Brute Force 2, the Halo killer.
What I'm thinking, one of them, my fear is that one of them, and I'm just pulling this out of my ass. I didn't hear this anywhere or anything. I'm just thinking one of them might be, and everyone's going to roll their eyes, but Arkham Origins.
Is it exclusive?
Yeah.
Well, due to the fact that it already sounds like that's completely boned, I don't care.
Right. Now, I know that's why I said, we can roll our eyes. And I mean, I'm going to play the game, but I don't have any hopes for that game whatsoever. It's just I
lost all hopes when they announced multiplayer.
I lost all hopes when it wasn't Rocksteady anymore.
Well, there was that too.
So I haven't heard.
Unless they do, the only thing that would make me excited about that game is if it comes out that it's an open world 1960s style Adam West Batman, and then I would possibly be all over it, because that would be a hoot and a holler.
Now,
or give me a mode where every time I punch a bad guy in the face, pow comes up.
Biff, pow.
Now,
pow, smack.
Let's talk about.
If there's a shark repellent scene in it, sold.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Okay, so the reason I'm on the fence about the whole thing is just because of stuff that rumors again that I've been hearing and whatnot is I've heard that the Xbox One, like the Xbox 360 in the beginning, is going to force developers to go through the DirectX API to talk to the hardware. Which my understanding from where I've heard this from is that up until I heard this from Rebel FM, is that if Microsoft had released a new Xbox 3 years ago, they would have had backwards compatibility, because I guess up to 3 years ago the 360 operated under the same principle, which is everything had to go through the DirectX API to talk to the hardware. So almost every game was being run in a virtual environment. But in the last 3 years, to push the hardware farther and farther, developers had to drop that layer to get more out of the system. So they could have put backwards compatibility in the Xbox One, but it would have been every game prior to like 2010. So you wouldn't have been able to play like any of your games from like the last 3 years. Now they've gone back to this with the Xbox One, so they have backwards compatibility in mind going forward again. And then I kind of strung that together with the subsidized 360 that they have right now, where you can get a 360 for $99 as long as you sign up for 2 years of Xbox Live. And that is something.
When I buy an Xbox, that's what I'll do, because I'll be playing on Xbox anyways.
Right, and it's kind of like that's what the cell phone market does, and the service that you're buying is the service from your carrier, and you sign a contract for 2 years and you get the phone for $200. They've got that. Obviously, they have the infrastructure.
Like, hey, I will be your customer for the next 2 years.
Yeah, and so obviously they have the infrastructure in place to do this. So what it may allow them to do is, okay, so you can go and you can buy a $400 or $500 Xbox One off contract, and then you can get your your $60 a year whatever Xbox Live if you want to. I mean, obviously you can find it on sale for $30, but that's not the point here. Or you can buy the same model for $200, sign a 2-year contract, and you pay like $10-15 a month for Xbox Live, which is a service you're probably going to want anyways for the system. And you get the device for $200. Now, both Sony and Microsoft in the last generation released updated hardware almost every 2 to 3 years. They didn't release new hardware, they released redesigns. But what going through the DirectX API would allow them to do is what, Apple does with iOS. It's you can release a redesign with new hardware inside of it every 2 years for $200 to people that want to sign up for it again, and they'll be able to play all Xbox One games. Plus, there'll be new hardware in there that developers will be able to take advantage of and use going forward. Yeah. And that is a huge step. I understand that's a huge rumor, but it's apparently the Xbox One is they're developing it as their answer to the living room. Like, this is it. And with the way that the cell phone market and the mobile market is kind of like hardware wise, people have gotten used to upgrading their hardware every 2 years and stuff, like still working. It's kind of like we're to that point now, and they have, like I said, they have the infrastructure in place to offer a subsidized box. They'll have the service there that people will want to pay for, because I like Xbox Live. I mean, PlayStation Plus has, the added benefit of giving you free games, but you know what? The first year of PlayStation Plus on the PlayStation 4, if Sony gives away a free game, I will be surprised. Considering there is no backwards compatibility, there is no incentive for them to offer you a free game.
Because you'll have to buy one.
And coming back to that, I feel like of the two, I feel like one of them is more proven or capable to deliver out of the box what they're selling me at their press conferences. And that is Microsoft. As far as I can tell, Microsoft really hasn't failed to deliver on what they've said. Sony
system.
Nothing? What?
I said just on working systems.
Okay, but we've been over this before on the podcast. Apparently the PS3 had just as many failures too. So
I didn't experience those ones firsthand though. So
neither did I. But every time we've talked it up, we've brought up the flip side, which is apparently the PS3 had the same issues. And Sony always in everything that they've done, maybe outside of the Vita, from what I can tell, is they've always overpromised and then underdelivered. And the line that Microsoft came out and said no backwards compatibility, that is way better than Sony coming out and going, we're working on backwards. We'll
see.
Yeah, we're working on backwards compatibility. Because then they'll just go, you already bought the system. Clearly, you don't really care if we put backwards compatibility in it anyway, so no backwards compatibility for you.
Yeah, they got bit with that on the PS3. I think a lot of people bought that to be a Blu-ray player and then just bought a bunch of PS2 games out of the $14.99 bin at GameStop.
But it's just kind of but they said they're working on one, so that's a promise that I'm expecting them to deliver on. And
that doesn't bother me if they don't deliver on that, because I have my old system.
And I'll keep mine too, but it's one of those things, like, they shouldn't have said it, because it's one of those things that people are banking on it. Like, when people are comparing these two things together, it's like, well, the PlayStation 4 is going to have backwards compatibility. Is it?
No, it
is
might.
It?
It also might have. It also might shit gold nuggets, from what I hear.
I mean, like, I'm in the same boat as Danner. Infamous, Uncharted, heavyweights, as far as I'm concerned. There's the 360, the Xbox One, they can't match that. And the titles that I can think of that I want to play, we've had this discussion before, is that I've slowly started to realize they're all multi-platform. So there really is no reason for me to play it on the 360. I'm hoping that Sony can get their act together on Party Chat. They have on They have on the Vita. Danner and I know that.
Yeah.
But
I can't imagine them making it that much more different from the Vita for the PS4. Then I think they probably have learned that. I would hope.
I'm just, but at the end of the day, I'm 60% PlayStation 4, 40% Xbox. E3 will probably swing something somewhere, one way or the other, and right now I'm kind of in that spot where it's like I'm gonna save up $400. That way I'm in spitting distance of whatever the boxes cost, and I'll wait and see which one is, I think, more right for me at that time, and then I'll go and grab that one. I do think that both of them are going to end up being like the Wii U, where you're going to be able to walk into a store and find one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You said it a couple of seconds ago. $400 is going to keep me from buying this thing for a very long time. And if Sony pulls the same thing that they did, where they come out with a new version of the hardware at the original price tag, and so like the price never really drops, they just keep making a bigger hard drive and selling it at $399. Yeah, I'm never going to get one of those because I will never be able to afford it. I mean, I will not buy one of these pieces of hardware until it's $299 for the good version. And even then, there better be some good games on there, because right now there is nothing that I'm really looking forward to on the horizon yet.
Well, let me ask you.
I will probably pick up one of the systems the day Fallout 4 comes
It's
out.
gonna be one of them's gonna be opening window, one of them's gonna be down the road.
Well, it's whenever Fallout 4 comes out, that is my window. That is, I will not be able
What's
to
ever
wait.
closest to that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this:
Xbox, it is. Like,
I'm wondering if Fallout 4 isn't going to be an exclusive.
Don't swear. No swears. It's terrible. Don't say that.
So, what do you guys? Obviously, I threw out a big hypothetical speculation, rumor stuff, but does a subsidized box interest you guys at all?
I don't.
like I said, when I buy an Xbox, it'll probably be with the if there's a subsidized box with the service thing, because I would buy Xbox Live anyways. And I would rather.
I can't spend $400 at one time.
Well, yeah, but would you spend $200?
And
would
then
you spend $200 if you
the rest
had
of my life? Maybe
if you had to make payments for the next couple of years, just like
I
a cell
could
phone?
probably do that again if there's a game that I want.
Yeah.
Daniel?
Because
he's just quiet on the whole subject. I want to see if he had an opinion.
Who?
You, Danner, on a subsidized box.
Sorry. It depends. I mean, it depends on. It depends on what I see. I mean, it really depends on what I see from the games. Ultimately, the subsidized box thing, I would totally be down for. But it has to be, like Joe said, the games have to be there.
yeah.
I think we're all in agreement on the games. I think I'm just personally, I'm just taking a broader picture of games.
So far, it seems the games that I'm most excited for personally are multi-platform. So that's not the huge like Watch Dogs. I want to play. I want to play Destiny.
I want to play
those
that
games
bad,
I can get
but-
anywhere. Destiny, or Watch Dogs. Which one are
Watch
you talking
Dogs.
I want to play both of
Watch
those,
Dogs.
but I don't want to
I wanna
spend
play both of them.
$400 to play them.
Yeah.
Anyone that is
But,
interested in Watch Dogs should probably check out Person of Interest, the TV show.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But what it's basically going to come down to, when it comes down to if I have, a PS4 in this hand and an Xbox in this hand, sure, the exclusives are going to matter, but it's definitely going to be, it's like what my friends are playing. Because I might, if you all get PlayStation 4s and I get Xbox, great. I have, and whatever with Xbox Live, but I don't get to play the games I want to play with the people I want to play them with.
Yeah.
So that's especially when it's one of the major games I want to play is a cooperative multiplayer game.
Right.
And I think
Bungie.
generally with all of the cross-platform games and the exclusives that I don't care about on either system, the first party titles, that we're all going to end up kind of needing the same system. I mean, I think we're gonna go together with that, since none of us, I mean, you guys care about first party PS3 stuff, but so I think that's where we're all going to end up one way or another, is on PS4.
I keep getting sucked into, every time I talk about going PlayStation 4 only with my wife or with you, Shanzi, it always comes down to the controller. And I like the 360. I at the end of the day, I like the 360 controller, and that's like also one of the reasons why it's. I mean, I have no issues with the PlayStation controller because I've been using one for, I don't know what, almost 20 years now, almost 16. But I don't know. But again, the PlayStation 4 has slight redesigns on its controller. It actually looks like it's got a little more meat to it. But the stick placement,
it's that's huge. I've played first person shooters on PlayStation 3. I'm sure a good portion of it has to do with just practice with it. But I don't think I will ever be able to outgun myself on without the staggered joysticks. I don't know what it is about that. Whoever came up with it, there's something to it.
I wonder if it's the stick layout or just how the sticks feel fundamentally different. There's a different tension to both systems, so I'm wondering.
Oh, definitely. Plus, I mean,
that's one of the things they changed is the fidelity of the sticks on the PlayStation 4. So
yeah, I can't remember. Was the tops of the sticks, were they concave or convex? I can't remember.
They're concave now.
They're concave now. They weren't before, right?
On the PlayStation 4, they're concave. Now,
but they're convex on the PlayStation 3, right?
Yes.
Which I always thought was stupid. I've slipped off those damn sticks too many times.
Maybe you should stop sweating while playing video games,
dude. It's so
too much
intense,
Jergens,
man. There's no such thing as too much Jergens.
So
I just use the bottle. Get that image out of your head ever. I dare you.
No. So we all just came back to the whole thing of it being, the games, and we're not going to know that until June 10th.
Yeah, but like I said, it's going to matter. It's going to matter more what I think. I have a feeling before both things going to come down, there's going to be one where it's like, okay, guys, what are we getting?
I think Destiny is that game, but it's for me, Destiny's that game.
I meant between the
system,
the systems. Like,
right.
Okay, guys, are we going Xbox or are we going or fucking Xbone? That's so stupid.
I hate that name too. I hate Xbone.
It sounds like a horrible cyber porn star.
I like XO. That's
Hugs
what I
and
XO kisses hugs.
Yeah, XO hugs and kisses. So, well.
Oh, honey, I want to come and play your hugs and kisses system.
Might be the way to do it.
Does anyone have any rumors or speculation they want to throw on in the end that we didn't cover?
Speculating's for
How do you all
pussies.
feel about the Xbox Connect listening and watching all the time, even when it's off?
It's
a little creepy.
It's listening when it's off. It's not on. It's not watching.
It's listening. It goes into low power mode. It's trying to detect you. Because you can turn it on with your voice now, right? That's the whole deal.
Yes.
Somebody dug up a patent though a couple of years ago that has the camera being active too to tell when you're in the room and when you skip commercials and things so that they can track and reward you for watching ads.
Well, here's something interesting. So the Kinect has to be plugged in at all times for the system to work, right? But there are privacy settings so you can turn the Kinect off.
It just physically still has to be plugged in.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. I
don't get it.
I'm
assuming it's some fail-safe where literally there has to be the plug-in.
Hey, listen, if it works,
the plug has to be.
It's a start of Skynet.
Yeah, if it works the way that it does,
I'm telling you.
If it works the way that it does in their demo, which it won't, then awesome. Because my Kinect does not work for shit. I can't make. I say Xbox Play Netflix or Xbox Netflix, and it goes to Bing and says, "Did you mean this?"
Did you mean Frosted Flakes?
What do you mean? Did I mean this?
Say no, Chandler Bing. No, I did not mean this.
So I don't know how concerned I am about it just being on, because the flip side of that is most of us have a cell phone in our pocket that has a camera, 2 cameras, and 2 microphones in it that can be turned on at will. I mean, it's
remotely.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, okay, if you're going to be paranoid about something that's sitting in your family room, but you're not paranoid about the thing that's sitting in your pocket with you all the time, then
it's because it's in my pocket. It's not looking at me.
But it can listen to you.
Your mom can listen to me.
She certainly can. But
vividly.
The one thing that I'm kind of freaked out about the Kinect is there was another patent that was dug up that Microsoft has that it can see how many people you have in the room.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
And if there's more than 15 people, it can charge you more for watching a movie. Because you're over the the
license.
The license for watching a movie in your home. It becomes a public showing if there's more than 15 people.
Yeah, and if you talk about a football game without the written consent from the NFL Association, like,
yeah, can you imagine trying to watch
at that point? I'll be draping something over top of my Kinect.
Man, can you imagine the mess
behind my TV?
Can you imagine the mess of trying to having a Super Bowl party and having everyone in there watching it, and all of a sudden you get a bill from the NFL?
You owe us $1,400
because you had 16 people at your house.
But I did like the one thing they were saying about the Kinect is that the way the controller works is, you know how now it's the radial, it's like quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4 to tell you which player the controller is.
Yeah,
that's not the case anymore.
How does that?
Is it
work?
recognize the way I've heard it? Speculation aside and everything, is say I set up the Kinect. It recognizes me as main person.
Yes.
I pick up a controller when the Xbox, it sees me holding a controller in the Xbox's mind. That's controller 1 because it's mine.
But how does it determine who 2, 3, and 4 is?
The lesser of the people you like.
Yeah. Joe comes over, it's just his controller shuts off in the middle of like, son of a bitch.
The Kinect knows no matter who picks up the pink controller, they're the bitch controller, so they always last.
I'm assuming it literally does that, like say, Mike comes in the room, turns on the controller, it's like, oh, it's Mike's thing, so he's player 1. Art comes in, and it's like, do you want Art to be, or do you want him to be number 2?
Oh, you know what else is awesome? Being able to walk into someone's house and just say Xbox off while they're in the middle of a game.
I've heard that you can't turn it off with the voice commands.
Well, you can power it down.
Yep. You can send it with like a standby mode. It doesn't lose any progress, but it's kind of like walking by on someone's cell phone or on their iPhone and hitting that top button and locking the screen. Like, you mother goddamn.
Nothing's going to be better than when you get an argument with your wife and then she just goes, Xbox off.
Oh,
come on, I was playing that.
And then you just yell, wife out.
Xbox, you're drunk, go home.
Yeah.
No, and the PS4 is supposed to come with a camera too. They've detailed very little about their camera and how it's going to be integrated and all that stuff. And obviously, everyone wants Sony to come out and be the champion and do everything that Microsoft isn't doing. And at the end of the day,
I'd like to see Nintendo to come out and do something.
They did. It was failing. They did it.
I hope. I don't know. I just want to enjoy gaming.
Yeah,
and as long as
the whole the heartbeat thing about the Kinect kind of creeped me out.
Oh yeah, it basically has the fidelity of one of the security checkpoints at an airport now.
It can sense your heartbeat.
Ugh.
Oh no, Master's dying! I'm gonna call 911.
That would be hilarious.
Listen, fatty, you need to take a break. You're getting too hyped up on Call of Duty. Instant pauses your game.
Sean,
Go
I think you
outside.
should lay off of the Cheetos. You're not looking
I think you should
so
mind
good.
your goddamn business, Xbox.
Did you hear
But
that
I'm concerned
Germany
for you.
and Australia are up in arms about that camera and microphone always being on? Their privacy laws don't allow that sort of thing.
Well, that's
When
why they have the
isn't
privacy
Australia
controls.
up in arms about something? For a band of thieves and criminals, they're very particular. Like,
Here, this is a funny
Hey,
tweet.
they got morals.
There was a rumor that
yeah, exactly.
the Xbox One is supposed to be able to have conversations with you, kind of like Jarvis is in Iron Man. And this was a tweet that I got about it.
Yeah, that's all my girlfriend needs is me actually talking to my Xbox and it talking back.
I don't know if you guys can see the text
We're
window,
involved. We have a relationship.
but now I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens on June 10th, and I don't know. I don't know. Should we try and record a show that night?
We'll see.
We should have a party.
What night will it be?
It's a Monday night. It's a Monday night.
I don't know.
So
I can do it.
I'm down for it. So
We'll see.
because then we wouldn't have to do one on Wednesday.
Uh.
So, all right. Well, we covered a lot of crap, and it was all a whole hodgepodge of stuff.
That's how we do it.
That's how we roll here on Off the Cuff.
Yeah.
You're lucky we even talked about games. I thought for a second we should probably talk about Star Trek Into Darkness or
Haven't
Iron
seen
Man
it.
3.
Seen that?
Yep.
Anyways, I've been your host, Michael Powers. You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, and the PlayStation Network with the handle BoothNinja81. Danner?
You can find me on Twitter at ArtDanner or on Xbox Live at, well, you really can't find me on Xbox Live. You can find me on PSN at X51 The Machine Man.
Shawnzy?
I've been Sean Z. Brown. You can find me on Xbox at Weapon87, all caps.
You stole my line because I have been Joe Reed, and you can actually find me on Facebook at.
You're
Geek Stuff
always
Garage.
Joe
I'm always Joe.
Reed.
And you're always Sean. But you can find me at the
Sean Z.
Geek
Brown.
Stuff Garage Sale Facebook page. Go head over there. We're up to 12 vendors, which is twice the size of last year. I'm going to have to get chalk in the parking lot.
Woo. I swear to God, I want to go to one of these.
It's getting out of hand, man. It's really getting.
Oh my God.
You're going to need a convention center.
I know. This is... Yeah, I don't want it any bigger. And not until I measure the parking lot.
So, all right. So we will have another episode for you next week. I don't have a suitable tag. Danner, do you want to sign us off? You usually seem to have something pretty witty. Perfect.